Welcome to Gene and Mike do the New York Times crossword.
Hi, I'm Jean.
And I'm Mike. And today we are doing the crossword for Sunday, June 23rd, 2024. So, did you do the crossword?
I did.
And did it move you?
Did it move me?
Did it move you?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Did it move you?
I moved while I was doing the crossword.
Well, I guess it moved you then.
Yep.
No, I pretty well stayed put while I did the crossword.
Probably a good idea. It's dangerous to walk and do crosswords at the same time.
That's true.
What do you think about this crossword?
Well, I liked it, but I spent much longer on it than I like to spend on a crossword. So it was a challenge for sure. Mm-hmm. But I enjoyed the theme because, as you know, I love art.
Yes.
And this had an art theme, so that was great.
It was a fairly straightforward theme, I thought. You simply had to know a bunch of paintings.
That's right. And they were pretty common paintings. So it took me a while to kind of figure out what was going on.
Yes.
But once I did, I'm like, I went back and I'm like, oh, that's that one and that's that one. So it made a lot more sense. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember where it was the long one in the middle, 68 across. One gemstone, 1665. And I had gotten enough of the crosses that I could see girl with pearl earring. And so I put that in there. So I'm like, ooh, I see what they're doing. Because there was a number in every themed clue. Like, for example, 23 across was the first one. 2 Iowans, 1930. That was the date in parentheses afterwards. And that's when, once I got girl with pearl earring, it was like 2 Iowans. I'm like, oh, I know, that's American Gothic.
Right.
And then 37 across. 6 Basque Villagers, 1937. I thought, oh, that's Guernica by Picasso.
Yes.
And then 42 across, 12 Orbs, 1889 was The Starry Night. So yeah, there was always kind of a number of somethings and a date afterwards. And it turned out the somethings were what were painted, and the number were how many were actually in the painting. And,
of course, we had a revealer.
Yes, at the end, that was funny because it was 113 across. Kind of craft store kit or a hint to this puzzle's theme, and that was paint by numbers.
Yes.
So these were all paintings that were identified by the number of things that were in them.
Right.
Mm-hmm. The last one was a double clue. It was 86 and 99 across, and that was 4 timepieces. And I'm like, I know this one, Persistence of Memory by Salvador Dali. And so that one, that took a lot of letters filled in, which was great, because since it was taking me so long to get it done, that was just kind of a nice little thing at the end there, like, oh, I can put that one in right away. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, there were a number, apart from the great theme, there were a number of more challenging clues than normal, I thought.
Definitely.
9 across, for example, was mechanical catch, and that was called a pawl,
That's
P-A-W-L.
Yes.
I'd not heard of that word before. It's sort of a lever that hooks into a ratchet. Uh-huh. And that's about as good a description as you're going to get out of me.
Right.
And I wasn't sure because 9 down was press conference organizers. It turned out to be PR teams.
Right.
And since I didn't know the word Paul, I was going back and forth between PR and HR.
Oh.
But I thought, why would HR be involved in a press conference?
Yeah, really.
I mean, unless everyone was going to get fired, in which case the HR would show up to do the job.
Or they hired someone famous.
Right. Mm-hmm. Even the one just before that, 5 across, La Vie en Rose singer, was Piaf.
That's right, Edith Piaf.
Right, and I wasn't sure about that, but the crosses there were fairly gentle. I ended up, I think, 1 across, Plant in a Bloom. It was algae.
Oh, alga.
algae, or however you want to pronounce that. It's the plural of alga.
Alga?
Alga?
Maybe.
I always go for algae, but anyway, 3 down, the G of algae was shin armor, which was greaves.
That is correct.
I'm like, what? Have you ever heard of greaves?
I have, because it has been in the crossword before.
No,
yes,
really?
It has. Yes, it has. Because I thought, oh, we've had this before, and I couldn't remember it.
When have we had it before?
It might have been another Sunday, or maybe it was a Friday or Saturday. It was, I think, one of the harder day puzzles. But
okay, so greaves singular, according to our favorite website, xwordinfo.com, greaves plural has only shown up once. Grieve singular has shown up, let's see, 6 times. Okay, so it's in 2018. You're remembering it from 2018? I'm impressed.
I don't know, but I remember we've had it before.
Well, perhaps you're remembering it from June 29th, 1997, or 1988, 1972, 1947, or 1943. Boy, if you're remembering it from 1943, I'm really impressed.
A little before my time.
Apparently, your grandmother.
A lot before my time.
Your grandmother did the New York Times crossword, and somehow
she didn't. Maybe that was the clue.
Could have been.
And the answer was shin guard or shin armor or something. But we have seen that word before.
Okay. Well, I definitely did not remember it.
I didn't either. But when I got it, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember now. Greaves.
13 across, seasonal decoration from the Old French for sparkle. I had it starting with a T and ending with an L, or at least I thought it was ending with an L. So I went for tassel.
Oh.
Which.
That doesn't sparkle. Not like tinsel. And plus, that's not really a holiday decoration. Well,
if you're celebrating
seasonal decoration.
If you're celebrating graduation, say.
Right.
That's sort of seasonal. But it was indeed tinsel.
That Paul, that's where I ended up, because 12 down was business name ender.
Right.
And, I had the PAW, and I thought, well, maybe it's pawn. So then I had NLC, but that doesn't look right. So I just kind of went through the alphabet, and when I got to L, I got the music.
You didn't recognize the LLC because I first put down, again, for 12 down, the business name ender. I went down for LTD.
Yes.
Limited. And then, the other possibility is what? LLC, Limited Liability Corporation.
I didn't know.
Allow me to mansplain that.
Yes. I had heard, LTD, but I guess I'd never heard LLC, so
yeah,
I wasn't sure what it was.
I was once a member of one.
Oh, yeah? Mm-hmm. Whoa.
I know.
Maybe that can be a fun fact.
It wasn't really very much fun, but it was a fact. 32 across, part of the atmosphere above most weather, near space.
Yes.
That was curious.
Yes.
Makes perfect sense.
I actually looked at the wordplay comments about this puzzle.
Yes.
There were a lot of people that did not like it.
Why is that?
Well, they said it was hard. Some people said it was hard. Some people said there were just too many natics and you had to really know about art if you wanted to solve it. And a lot of people, I guess, weren't art aficionados.
Right.
Which is true. You did have to know about art, but boy, most of these paintings are pretty famous.
I would argue that these are paintings that if you don't know, you should go and look at.
Exactly.
And that the New York Times is doing you a favor, arbitrary complaining wordplay writer.
Yeah, they're like sort of the epitome of different art genres that you'd be a better person for taking a look at them.
Right. Rex Parker didn't like it either, but he doesn't like most crosswords.
Well, he is pretty critical.
He is a curmudgeon of the first order.
Right. But I enjoyed it. It was an interesting challenge, but I was amazed that I stuck with it as long as I did, because it was it usually takes me an hour, and this took me about an hour and a half. So.
There were a few other places that I sort of ran into problems. Somehow I managed to pull this one out. 74 across. Sauce in Philippine cuisine, adobo. That sounded right.
We had that before. Not too long ago.
That must be why. I mean, it's very close to adobe. Too bad they didn't get adobe in here.
Well, we have adobo seasoning, right up on our spice rack.
I should go study our spice rack. That would probably help me with
I put adobo seasoning in a lot of food. It's kind of a mostly cumin, but it's got a little kick to it. It really makes like soups and stews and stuff. So good.
Well, not really related to adobo, except in terms of sound. 91 across. Too much musically was tropo.
Yes, I had some problems down there because I did not know tropo.
Well, no one knows tropo.
And then, 2 under that, 106 was shanties, 106 across. And of course, I was thinking of like sea shanties, so I was thinking of music, but it was actually shanties like
lean-tos.
Lean-tos.
Yes. Yeah, I guess that was sort of tricky. I must have had enough of the crosses. I think I had 93 down. The kind of spending bill was an omnibus.
Yes.
I just love that. I hope, like in Washington, D.C., you can ride the omnibus. And then the one next to it, that's a bunch of crock. 94 down was pottery.
That's right.
That's pretty amusing.
Somebody wrote, how many people put buttery and put it there for a long time before they changed it to pottery?
Buttery, yes.
Like a crock, of
course,
crock.
Then it would have been the persistence of memory.
Yes.
Which almost sounds like memory, honestly, when you switch the O with a U.
Memory.
Let's see. There was something else interesting in that area. 120 across. They're comfortable alone or in a crowd. Ambiverts.
Yes, that was a new word for me.
Yes, me too.
Ambiverts.
Yep. So they can be either an introvert or an extrovert, just depending on context. But I can see why people would complain about the difficulty level here.
Yeah, there were some very challenging clues. And then if you didn't know art, those would all be very challenging as well.
Right. But if it helps if you've got
Mona Lisa.
if you've got a good memory, and if you do every crossword, you get rewarded for that.
Well, that's true.
Because for example, I'm not sure if they had Estonia today. Let's see, was Estonia in the crossword today?
Yes.
Yes, there it is.
90 down.
90 down. Country that had a nonviolent singing revolution in the late 1980s. So apparently this week, Joel Fagliano ordered all of his crossword writers to research Estonia.
Yes.
And put in a clue. You must, if you want to get your crossword in the New York Times, you must reference Estonia. Because this is the 4th time?
I don't know, but it's been in several times.
It's really been a banner week for Estonia. Maybe the Estonian Prime Minister is visiting the New York Times or something, and they wanted to honor him.
Or maybe they passed a little money, like, put us in the crossword.
And we need the tourism. I don't know if there are any other tourist sites that are showing up here.
I don't think so.
Lebanon.
Oh, well, yes. Used to be
modern-day Phoenicia, 51 across.
Yeah, I did not know that.
I didn't know the one next to it. 56 across. TV host Joy was Joy Reid. I take
She's on MSNBC. She has a hour-long show every night, news show.
Boy, and that E of Reed ran into 44 down. Look at desirously was eye up.
Right.
I've never heard that phrase sound so made up. Eye up? Hey, quit eyeing up that person. It's just like, what? I'm sure it's a real phrase, but it just sounds odd.
Eye up.
Eye up.
I just heard a phrase, glow up. Glow up. It's like when you get a makeover, like get your hair done differently or, change your makeup or whatever. They call that a glow up.
Yeah, I try and get a glow up every day or two.
You don't need a glow up.
I don't need a glow up. 88 down, large building was an edifice. That's just a word I don't use very often.
No.
and I regret it. I have to try and
it's a great word.
It is. It just it sounds noble.
Yes.
Behold the edifice.
There maybe aren't too many edifices around where we live.
Or edifici.
Or whatever, yes.
29 down was, let me find 29 down here, supermarket chain inits, IGA.
Good old IGA.
Yep. And apparently there are IGAs around here.
There are a few.
Not a huge number, but enough.
Yep.
I presume they're probably nationwide, I guess.
I don't know how many are left, but boy, when I was growing up, there were lots of IGAs everywhere.
70, let's see here. Let me get this right. 78 down was kind of dish that you wouldn't want to eat from. So it's like, dog dish.
Yeah.
But it was Petri.
Yeah.
That was sort of amusing.
I always learned it as Petri.
Petri? Well, potato, patata, Petri.
Maybe that's the Canadian versus U.S.
Mais oui.
Petri dish.
79 across, Crazy Horse and Kin, Oglalas. And
that surprised me. I did not know what tribe Crazy Horse was from. Crazy Horse, they're making that huge memorial for him up in South Dakota.
Yes.
So I thought, maybe Dakotas, but no, it was Oglala.
I don't know if I've ever heard of the Oglalas before.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Really? Okay. I mean, it sounds like something out of Willy Wonka.
No,
but
that's an Oompa.
Okay.
Oglala.
Oglala. Let's see. 98 across was unreliable narrators. And that was liars.
Yes.
And let's see. One that I've had a lot of trouble with. 24 down. 24 down being answering machines. No, let me try that one more time. 24 down, bouncer's job, and it was IDing.
That's right.
That's just...
I got that right away.
Really?
So one that was complained about, and I didn't even think about it because I am a knitter, but 122 across, yarn label number, and that was dye lot.
Right.
I filled that right in, but a lot of people are like, who would know dye lot? And I'm like, well, if you're a knitter or a crocheter, you would know that.
Right. And again, the idea is, there are a couple of points here. One, you can get it through the crosses.
That's right.
You're not expected to know all the words. If everybody who did the New York Times knew all the words, it would be like suitable for a sixth grader.
Yep.
And Sundays used to be, I believe, quite difficult. They might have been the most difficult crosswords. I'm not sure if that's true, but I can remember a relative working through the Sunday crossword with paper and pencil. And
I remember in Wordplay, someone was complaining about the difficulty of this, and someone wrote back, it's a crossword puzzle. You're supposed to be puzzled.
Yes, really.
So that's what makes it fun. Then you learn the answer. And
I mean, if we take a look at die lot, the crosses there are a little bit hard. 86 down, dance like Cardi B, twerked. But there were probably, you knew it was danced, it was plural.
Right.
So, I'm sorry, past tense. So you knew it started with a D. The next thing was, 87 down, 2 farthings colloquially, and it was a halfpenny.
Right.
And
Halfpenny.
a halfpenny?
That's how I've always heard it.
Okay. Also, that's how much it cost to buy a Petri dish.
That's right.
But so I knew, I wasn't sure about that, but penny sounded right. So I had it ending with a DY. So now I've got, something that is yarn labeled, and it's just like, it's probably a dye. And then 108 down, like some mirrors, oval. I think...
Yeah, the last 3 were quite easy, actually. So yeah, I think you could have gotten it from the cross.
Well, quite easy might be, it depends on your worldly experience. It depends on your memory, and it depends on your talent for seeing a bunch of letters with a bunch of white space in between and filling in the blanks. So not everyone can do it. And but I was able to get through this. I liked it. I thought it was by Michael Schlossberg, who has put together some incredible crosswords.
Yeah.
And this one, I like being reminded of famous works of art.
Oh yeah, me too. They gave a little bio and wordplay, and he is an internist. And I think they said this was his third Sunday puzzle of the year.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, he's a doctor, internist. But anyway, I thought, good for you, Michael. He kind of does this in his spare time.
Actually, he's done it. Oh, so he's done a total of 13.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And
I think they said it was his maybe third Sunday puzzle this year and sixth overall.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Sunday would be such a challenge. I can't even imagine putting together a Sunday puzzle, but I thought he did a nice job.
Yes, indeed. I would want to go and talk to him about crosswords and this pain on my left side. All right. Well, that is it for today then. So thanks everyone for listening.
Yes.
Let us know how you did and what you thought about today's crossword.
Yeah, I'd be curious.
Yep. Drop us a line at crosswordpodcast@icloud.com. You can also send us fan mail. There's a link in the podcast blurb, or you can go to our Facebook page, Gene and Mike do the New York Times crossword.
Right.
We will be back again then with our cutting edge analysis of tomorrow's crossword tomorrow.
Bye-bye.